So, the World Economic Forum occurs every year in Davos, Switzerland, where the transnational financial and political elite fly on their private jets and meet for almost a week to discuss how to stimulate growth, to improve living standards, and steward a just and inclusive energy transition. At least that is this year's tagline. In the past, it's been more like human rights, wishy-washy, but we have finally discarded all pretense of those. Pretending like we care about humans who aren't in the 0.0001% is honestly too exhausting and unnecessary to maintain. Now, if you were to attend this year's Davos summit tomorrow, you could attend this panel. The issue for these elites is that people are living too long and not working, and therefore not creating surplus value for their various business interests. So the solution is either to raise the retirement age or find ways to have people die sooner. Luckily for them, both things are already happening in the US as the retirement age rises this year by 2 months and health insurance becomes inaccessible for many Americans. You'll hear arguments that the uber rich pay the most income taxes and that you, with regards to universal health care and Social Security, are not entitled to other people's money or labor, as if that's the only kind of taxation billionaires avoid. The ultra wealthy derive most of their income from investments, primarily realized and unrealized capital gains, which are selling stocks, real estate, collectibles, etc., along with business profits rather than salaries, allowing them to pay much lower effective tax rates than the working class. They use strategies like buy, borrow, die to defer or avoid taxes, meaning they borrow against appreciated assets, stocks, real estate, etc., that have increased in value for living expenses rather than selling and paying the 20% capital gains tax. They pass the assets on to their heirs on a stepped-up basis, wiping out most capital gains tax liability. They shift from earning income to owning appreciating assets like the apartment you are renting, making their investments the primary source of income, often held for generations. Basically, everyone I went to boarding school with before enlisting as an infantry private with no trust fund, it was actually, for the best, as those people have all the money in the world and they are absolutely miserable. So whenever you hear things like gotta raise the retirement age or universal health care would cost too much upfront tax money, which isn't yours, just remember that at the peak of the Gilded Age in 1910, the richest 0.00001% of the population owned wealth equal to 4% of the national income. Now, they own 12%. The U.S. billionaire oligarchs today are even wealthier than the original robber barons. And, anyone who says otherwise is literally the enemy.